Oreo cookies here.
Nice breakfast of champions. Hope you brought some to share.
I think I ate all 3 boxes.
Oh man, our Oreos are too good, dude. That's definitely one of my weaknesses.
I try to only eat 1 or 2 of those things before I hide them.
Smart.
When I found out Oreos were accidentally vegan, it was a really bad day for me.
Say accidentally vegan?
I mean, it's one of those I consider a lot of things that aren't labeled as vegan but happen to be vegan, kind of like accidentally vegan. Like most Pop-Tarts are accidentally vegan. There's lots of things out there that vegans can sneak into and eat.
Nice.
That you wouldn't think, like Oreos. Yeah.
Like, what'd you say, Ron? It's a whole Reddit there for it.
I also think about Oreos vegan at all. I mean, one way or the other.
Really. I actually remember the mini Oreos at one point had gelatin in them, so they were technically not vegan. I always think it's funny when there's things that are like obviously vegan that call out that they're vegan. Like obviously like a bottle of water is an obvious one. I don't know if there's any examples of that, but sometimes there's stuff like, of course this is vegan. Like how could you possibly put like animal stuff product into this?
Well, have you tried Smart Water? They add kind of crap all to it. Who knows what's in that?
It's probably not vegan.
I don't call it Smart Water. Freaking idiot water.
GMGM newcomers, welcome. Giantkin, do we have any questions? Have we checked yet?
Let me close that one. TG out. Open this up. I got too much crap going on.
While we pull that up, did anyone bring any questions they had ready?
I have a question.
Yes.
When can we see, or are we going to see the voting for the toke that we got put into the reactor? So we have not only one of the best reactors, but also the best APRs ever.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Pete, because we did execute the transaction to do the voting. We were just talking with the tokamak team because even though our transaction was confirmed on chain, we weren't seeing the votes in the UI. But it looks like it just updated. Yeah, let me confirm that. But I think those votes are live. So, and also at the same time,
somebody
deposited quite a bit of Fox at the same time. So that's why the APR hasn't quite changed yet. We staked a bunch of folks and a lot of Fox that deposited as well.
I mean, I'm so proud of the community. We're like less than a week into the reactor, and we've got more than half of some of the other projects that are that were in the first round. Like, this is amazing.
Heck yeah, we are crushing it. Okay, I was wrong. So another $1 million of toke did get staked since I last checked, but that was not. We should have that number should go up by about a little over 3 million, like 3.25 million once they figure out what's going on.
So it should end up being like 6 and almost 7.
Yeah, we'll have 6.7 million. Yeah, we'll have like $7 million of toke staked. What that will do is that'll push down the APR on the right side that you get for your staked toke if you vote for Fox. It'll push that down, and then it'll increase the Fox APR quite a bit. And then what that will do is that'll encourage more people to come stake Fox, and then Fox APR will go down, toke APR will go back up, and that's kind of like how their incentive pendulum works.
Yeah, I am super excited for like more discussions. And sorry, if anybody else wants to jump in, just stop me. I don't want to hijack this, but I'm super excited for what the DAO can use this for. Like for someone new coming into the DAO, and Ethereum being so expensive, like having single-sided staking with like really good solid rewards that's also mutually beneficial for the DAO is like so incredibly important. And it would be so awesome if we could like figure out sustainable ways that the DAO could keep, acquiring toke, to keep putting on the right side of the reactor, to keep making the left side of the reactor more and more attractive, to keep attracting more liquidity. It can become this sort of just like flywheel effect of benefit with a relatively low barrier to entry, at least as long as we're still pre-sharding and roll-ups for ETH. Like, it seems just so wildly powerful.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. I definitely see that this could be almost like a gamification type thing where you make it like an event where we try to lower one side, raise the other, and really make it like a built-in thing that we could really make it work for us. I see the benefits too, so I'm on board with what you're saying, Pete. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I love it too. I really think you're absolutely right, Pete. Like single-sided staking APR on a token is incredibly powerful. And I remember we looked at an example a while ago for EPNS, Ethereum Push Notification Service, and you can see they have a much lower APR on their single-sided staking than they do on their liquidity pool. I think it's like a third the APR about, but they have like 3 times as much actually staked, which just goes to show that people are willing to stake a lot more for a lower APR in these single-sided staking things when a permanent loss is not a risk. So I definitely think it's going to be a strong evolution to our liquidity mining, and it's going to, over time, result in more liquidity for the DAO at a lower cost. And to your point about like how can the DAO sustainably generate more token? That's a big part of the SFOX plans. Basically, is that for all the users that do stake Fox in our SFOX contract rather than the tokamak vault, like 80% of that staked Fox could be deposited into the tokamak reactor, and then the DAO could actually earn those token rewards and then reward stakers with Fox tokens. So you're staking Fox, you're earning more Fox. It's a killer APR, and the DAO is earning token that it can use to allocate more token rewards to the Fox reactor. It's pretty beautiful. Yeah,
it's
really
cool. Amazing. Well, I mean, what I'm so excited about, like, is this idea of what ShapeShift is building is that, like, you don't need to, like, we are creating truly mutually beneficial relationships with our users, right? You don't need to put your self-interest to the side to like support the mission of the ShapeShift DAO to become the best interface to Web3 DeFi ever. As long as we keep building these types of relationships, because tokamak is more than just like, hey, I can get some APR. It helps reduce buy pressure by like putting extreme utility into the token. Like, oh, I can earn toke and keep earning toke, and then if I need to liquidate for another asset or something like that, I don't want to sell my underlying Fox. It's making 56% right now. I could sell my toke, right? And that relieves some buy pressure. And then overall, the DAO and the project at large being able to direct liquidity as well, like this feels so good that it seems like it's got some pretty amazing potential to address the mercenary liquidity and sort of the liquidity mining problem overall.
Yeah, I think the benefits, the perceived benefits that we have yet to even realize are really good, because even even with the aspect of just the utility of the toke coin for voting, like for future core events or future events where they're trying to bring people in, and you have the where they have the bribing and stuff. If you're holding token, you put it in one reactor, you have that added utility that you could make extra money on top of it, of the value of the toke, because of the bribes that we paid out and stuff for future reactors. I mean, Ron had pointed out to me yesterday, I think it was, that like people are already trying to gear up for like another round of a core event, even if it's not even announced. And they're saying that they're already going to start their bribing at a certain threshold and go up from there. And the comment was made by Ron that we got off kind of late because we didn't have to bribe as much as like these other projects are already talking about bribing, from the start. So it's definitely a thing to look at.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Positive sum games for the win. And also, if we thought the competition was fierce in core round 2, it's going to be probably even crazier in round 3. So I'm glad we got in there early, and I'm excited. I'm super bullish on tokamak. The more that I learn about it, the more it really makes sense to me. And I mean, if they do achieve their vision, then it's quite possible the price of toke will increase quite a bit too. So pretty cool that we were also able to get our already the toke that we did a $3 million token swap for. That toke is increased in value by like $250,000 already. So hopefully we see that trend continue. Hey, Will, you got a question?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just one last question, then I'll jump out. For the awards that people are getting for staking their Fox, they're getting that in toke, right?
Yeah, they're getting that in toke. But if we were to do SFox, the DAO could reward Fox, and it could keep the toke that it earns from the staked Fox.
Oh wow, that's okay. I got to stop monopolizing the time. That takes me down so many creative rabbit holes.
Heck yeah. Ocean, what were you gonna ask or comment?
Just curious about the SFox has been talked about a lot in various channels. Just curious if you had an idea where that was on like the roadmap of all the engineering efforts that are going on.
That is a really good question, Ocean, and we actually wanted to talk to you about that because we wanted to get your take on what the development effort would be to create those contracts, basically.
Got it.
Because that will inform the decision quite a bit. I think kind of where the latest consensus is that if it's something that can be done in like a matter of weeks, let's get that done ASAP. Let's prioritize it. If it's something that could take longer, then less of a guarantee that we want to prioritize it immediately. Potentially, we'd want to prioritize more of just the other things that are on the roadmap, and then follow up with the SFox. And I think part of the reason for that is that while it would be very beneficial for the DAO to be able to start earning this token, and also really exciting to have just like Fox staking, we kind of already have that right now, right? You can already kind of go stake your Fox and earn token. The only difference really to the user would be that they're earning Fox. Ultimately, the APR will actually kind of equal out because the benefit you get from automatic compounding will kind of equalize with the rewards, the decrease in rewards, because only about 80%. We have to figure that out too, but not all of the Fox, unless we figure out a creative way to do it, can be staked. That's in the reactor. Because then, if someone wanted to withdraw their staked Fox, you have to actually like unwind the underlying position, which becomes gas intensive. So that's kind of some of the latest thoughts, but we definitely want to chat with you ASAP about what your estimate is on the actual development effort for the contract side.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I definitely have some questions to get that output for you guys, but happy to do that whenever.
Awesome. Let me see if we can schedule some time, even maybe Friday when John's back to chat with you about that.
Sweet.
Thanks, dude. All right. Any other questions?
Go ahead, Seth.
So I see that layer 2 support is on the roadmap, but there's been no progress on it yet. I'm wondering what the plan is for that.
I would definitely say that I would not say that there's been no progress on it whatsoever. I'd say all of the work that's gone into setting up this V2, that is all progress towards layer 2. All of the stuff that we've done to support Ethereum chains is going to make it a lot easier. The Ethereum mainnet is going to make it easier for us to support layer 2.
Well, I mean, on the roadmap, it says 0.
Oh, 0% on the actual roadmap. Yeah. Yeah, I think we've just been laser focused on just getting that first milestone of V2 out, which we did not consider L2 as a requirement for that. And then since then, yeah. But yeah, you see it's high on the roadmap, so it's going to be one of the next things we start on. And we do, even though it shows 0% there, we definitely do have a head start. And a lot of the work that we've done to get that foundation in place will make it much easier for us to add layer 2s.
Okay, but which layer 2s are we planning on supporting?
I think it says there in the roadmap, we will be able to enable several of these EVM compatible chains pretty easily, kind of at once. So like we can turn on Polygon, we can turn on XDAI, we can turn on Binance Smart Chain, and we can turn on trading on those via 0x really, really easily. I think those will be the first ones. The others, I think might be some more complexity for, and we'll probably need to spike that with the engineers. But I believe like Optimism and Arbitrum, from what I understand, are going to be a little bit additional lift than those other, basically like EVM clones.
Okay.
Maybe Ocean knows a little bit more about that. I'm not engineering enough and haven't looked deeply enough to give a solid answer there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty reasonable answer. The EVM stuff makes everything a lot easier, and then the chains that aren't running the EVM, it's definitely a bit more challenging. So yeah, Polygon, Binance, those places should be a much easier lift than anything that's like Solana, for example.
So when do you expect the first of our layer 2s to be finished?
That's a great question. Question for engineering. What were you going to say, Ocean?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I don't personally have the roadmap for the engineering efforts that are going on with the engineering work stream. It'd be something that we'd have to kind of talk to Josh about, I would believe.
Yeah, but I would estimate, if not weeks, which I definitely want to promise that, but single-digit months, and I would definitely, I would be very, 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 very surprised if we didn't have some solid layer 2 support by the end of Q1.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Not to speak for engineering either, but just being involved with testing and stuff like that from the ops side of things. I think right now, one of the major priorities of engineering is to get, Thorchain just got turned back on for, beta.shapeshift.com and for the apps, either Android and iOS. I think that they might focus on getting Thorchain up and running in V2 or, in alpha. That might be something that their attention might be put towards, just because of our relationship with Thorchain and having the ability to do the cross chain movement. But I don't want to speak to them on that on their behalf on that. But that I know that right now the stability of Thorchain is an important thing that we're working on to continue going forward.
I haven't looked at the roadmap, but I'm pretty sure there is an intention to do that. But there's a lot of details and kind of dependencies that would go into getting Thorchain in V2. We definitely have to get all of the UTXO and or Tendermint coins up and unchained first so we could actually have all of the data from those chains and assets, and then we could do Thor next. But it's definitely like I don't know if engineering has their own specific roadmap for each of these epics, but I think you can probably intuit a lot of this from the product roadmap as well.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe the EVMs are before Thorchain. If that's the case, then sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on that one.
Also, I noticed that the Fox Fuel program has been removed from beta.shapeshift.com. Is it still active, or is that one of those programs that died when the transition to the DAO was finalized?
It ended.
Yeah, it ended. Okay.
Yeah, with the other rewards program, simply because Shapeshift used to basically run that reward program and pay out the rewards.
That one comes up again soon. That was the one I liked the most.
That was a nice one for sure. But yeah, also
I think layer 2 support kind of invalidates it though. So
well,
Seth, did you find a copy of that fuel somewhere still on the platform that we need to scrub?
I did. If you go on beta.shapeshift.com and you go to the question mark for support at the bottom left, and you type in Fox Fuel, it shows up.
Yeah.
It's in the help desk still.
Yeah. Well, it's there, and then also in the app itself, if you go through the first time doing a trade, if you're like a first time person selecting trade with a new wallet, it'll go through the modals, like about a 4-screen modal, and the last of the 4, I found it yesterday, will say Fox Rewards. You earn Fox Rewards or Fox Fuel for doing trades and stuff. That probably will be updated as well. So
sweet. And those have been reported already, it sounds like.
Yeah, if we don't have triage tickets for them, let's get some made, and then we can get those addressed either in a ticket or in design QA.
Yep.
Awesome. And yes, I think you're right that layer 2 support will make it less important to have the gas rebates on mainnet. But also I think too, it's ultimately up to the community. There still could be value, but something else that can help with the gas fees on mainnet is CowSwap. I don't know if you guys have used CowSwap, but it's pretty awesome. You approve the transaction, you approve your ERC20 for transfer, and then after that, you're just signing messages. And the gas fees are a lot cheaper because CowSwap bundles a bunch of trades together. Plus, there's no risk of front running, and CowSwap integrates 0x. They aggregate 0x, Paraswap, and 1inch. Plus, they have their own layer on top of that where they can, if I want to trade asset A for B, and Highlander wants to trade asset B for A in the same minute window, it'll actually just match our orders, and they don't even need to settle on the underlying DEX.
I second that. CowSwap is amazing.
Heck yeah, CowSwap is super cool. They're very keen to partner with ShapeShift. And if we did that, then I think that the gas rebate program would also be less necessary. But still ultimately up to the community, and it definitely is something that people got excited about. But I still think that we can, as long as we're still just like the cheapest place to trade, and we're providing all these features and stuff and giving users Fox back when they trade based on our affiliate revenues, I think that we can still succeed potentially without the gas rebates. And maybe we start there, and then if we need something else to like to convince users to come trade with us, then they can look at implementing the gas rebates again. Definitely excited for most of the trade volume to move over to layer 2s. So I think we're at just the very, very beginning of that cycle.
Ocean, not to change the subject, I had a quick question for you, if possible. I know I kind of just brought up, I don't know if it's just an idea or something at this point, just a thought, in regards to like the committees being able to vote and tracking it, utilizing for authentication like a NFT protocol, where it's a smart contract built into giving people that have those NFTs in their wallets access to be able to vote and on Snapshot, and it's a verifiable way that we can keep track of votes as well as who is doing the voting. I saw some templates floating around that that basically do the same for other projects, and I think that we could probably get a template, and as long as we got people like yourself here and stuff looking at the code within the contract, we could probably get something up and running fairly easy versus a heavy lift.
That's interesting. I haven't heard about it. So just to make sure I understand, so you let's say that there's a committee member and we give them, it's committee A, and they get committee A NFT 1, and then that infers voting privileges for that committee. Is that the premise?
Yeah. So the NFT basically gives them the authentication and identifies them as a voting member on that committee, just through the issuance of the NFT, and as long as it's held in the wallet that's connected to Snapshot, it basically gives them the ability to vote on anything that's related to that in Snapshot. And those tokens, obviously those NFTs could be revoked or turned in, or have timelines built into it. Anything in the smart contract you could put as far as it's valid for a certain period of time, or stuff like that. So I think it would open an interesting avenue for us to kind of look at for authenticating and authorizing people.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, it's like an NFT role, right? So yeah, happy to look into it and provide whatever guidance I can there.
Cool.
I really like that too. Never was, and we could do it. Snapchat's pretty cool. They have it built in for the NFT support, and I think we could do NFTs on XDAI as well. Pretty sure we could do POAPs too if we wanted to save costs there, make it pretty easy. So I think it's a great way to do it, and definitely would help us just streamline the process of getting everybody to verifying these committee votes, basically, and also making it easy for the committees to do these votes. One thing we need to do too, though, is we would need to strong auth, I guess, everybody's address that we don't yet have. But yeah, I think I'm fully in favor of doing something like that.
So speaking of NFTs, are there any plans to integrate them into the web app? I'm wondering what we would even want to do with it if that was the case.
Yeah,
I mean, Portis has the ability already, but I was just going to say, Willie, that Portis has that ability. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Willie. I just know that Portis does it.
Yeah, we definitely want to display NFTs. It's a feature that's sorely missing from bm.shapeshift.com mobile app, but we have some initial discussions about putting it into V2. Gray Machine was working on a OpenSea spec, and kind of where that has landed is that the first milestone would be just showing users the NFTs that they have in their wallet. Right now, you just can't see them at all when you connect your wallet to ShapeShift V2. And we probably have that on an overview page as well as on the wallet page. You'd be able to tab between both your ERC20 tokens and your collectibles, or whatever we call it, your NFTs. And then once we display it, we can also, there's an affiliate revenue opportunity. So we can link out to the NFTs on OpenSea and then get affiliate revenues through that. So that's pretty exciting. And that would be a nice MLP. And then beyond that, of course, like just the ability to send the NFTs, that might also come in that like initial MLP. But that's kind of what we're thinking as the first milestone. And then kind of broader plans, we think it'd just be really cool to be like an NFT aggregator and not just show, like be able to show NFTs from all the different platforms, because there's multiple different marketplaces. And there's also some pretty cool protocols that we could potentially integrate that are now enable people to like swap NFTs. So there's some pretty cool stuff there. But no, beyond that, not the most solid plans, kind of just looking at that first milestone, which will be a big upgrade to what we currently have.
Yeah, and Seth, just as Willie was saying, so basically the V2, or the new platform, it's wallet agnostic basically, or could be. So your MetaMask, which now can connect to it, can hold NFTs. Your XDeFi, can hold NFTs. Your Portis can hold NFTs. It's just basically, like Willie was saying, building in the functionality to where you can and interact with the NFTs, which is something that they're definitely looking at. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Really, what I was getting at is just that NFTs are such a big part of what's happening in crypto. So it kind of feels like we should be doing something with it, but I'm not very knowledgeable about NFTs. So that's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, thanks for asking. You're right.
And yeah, what you said sounds reasonable. So
sweet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. It's definitely a missing core piece of functionality. But yeah, also to Nervo's point too, Portis is kind of going more in the direction of being focused on NFTs. So they're really trying to make Portis the best wallet for NFTs, which right now MetaMask is probably the most popular one, but it's not a great wallet for NFTs. It's better on mobile, but definitely some potential there. ShapeShift, we definitely are a little bit more DeFi focused, I would say, than NFT focused. I wouldn't say like NFTs are our main thing, but we want to be that one-stop shop, right? So it definitely makes sense for us to support at the very least like the fundamental NFT stuff. And eventually I look forward to the day where we can have like a dApp store. So we're playing around with concepts in the UI UX right now for how we can make it a really clean UX for this one-stop shop. So like an overview tab, a wallet tab, a DeFi tab, and then a explore tab is kind of how we're thinking about this, to go in line with like the explore the DeFi universe. And that explore tab could have a bunch of cool stuff in there. We could have not only like news articles, but also just featuring different types of like dApps and opportunities. But the idea is that we could kind of have it be very open-ended, and it could handle kind of any kind of future cool protocols that get launched. So, and it could feel very much like an app store. And you could see different categories like games and gambling and DeFi, all the different types of apps there. And then something I'm really excited about that I don't think anyone's doing yet is a review system for these apps that use signed messages. So that we can actually have like a reputation associated with each review. Like, on Amazon, you have like a verified purchase review. Basically, we can weight the reviews of users who we can verify have used a dApp, interacted with the contract on chain. We can weight their reviews heavier, especially if they've interacted with that dApp a lot. And that I think is really valuable and can help build some strong network effects, and wouldn't be a huge lift for us to do. Like if we can just, as soon as we have Wallet Connect in V2, users will be able to connect to most dApps and use all the wallets that are integrated with ShapeShift to interact with those dApps. So if we just started listing these dApps, which we could, it's mostly like content, just getting logos and descriptions and images for each of these dApps and links to their app. That'll be a really great start, and I think can help build some super strong network effects. And then hopefully, like we can get to the point where every time a new dApp launches, they're coming and they're filling out their app profile on ShapeShift, because they know that's where they need to be to get the eyeballs.
Right. And I think even if we have basic NFT support, it would definitely improve our marketing. Right. So if we could say, hey, we have NFT support, I think that alone would be beneficial, especially in the short term. But you raised an interesting point with being able to do reviews like Amazon does this thing where they say verified purchase, but we can take it a step further and say, like if someone's reviewing Rari Capital, we could say, oh, they loaned 10,000 Fox on there or something. So that would give the reader even more information.
100%. I'm excited for the day that ShapeShift can tweet, "Hey, we got NFTs now." That's going to be a great tweet. But yeah, I think that DApp store with like a decentralized and verified rating system that doesn't require gas, but it still uses cryptography. Especially if we can like store those ratings on IPFS like Snapshot does. I think that'd be so cool and so powerful, and is something that's very needed in the space, especially for new users that aren't familiar with what all these different dApps that they can use are. And now that there are so many dApps that you can actually use. And yeah, I would hate to see somebody else beat us to that, because I really think that whichever project can kind of get a head start and start establishing those network effects is going to have a really high competitive moat. And we're in a great position to do that.
And having a platform is where the real money is made. I think a year from now, this is going to be a wild year. That's for sure.
Amen. What's up, Zero X Justice? Glad you can make it.
Glad to be here.
You want to tell the community about this video series you're working on? I'd love to hear.
Sure. So, basically, Gray Machine, I don't know how this came about. The DAO space moves so fast and is so wild. I started to kind of notice a trend where people want to tell the stories of Layer Zero, whether it be in podcasts or textual interviews and stuff. And Gray Machine, who's a part of the DAO, was commissioned to be making some video series, because he's a audio-visual graphic design, ninja, right? And he can make this stuff. He was commissioned to make several of these for the DAO, and he wasn't getting enough material, right? Like, not a subject matter expert, so he needs the material to come in, and in the production, he can do that after the fact. And so I saw a forum post, someone saying, "Hey, we should start doing this." I said, "You know what? I'm already getting such a personal benefit out of scheduling, 15-minute interviews with DAO personalities and coming in and asking them, like, who are you? What did you do? How did you get here? Where's all this going?" Because those narratives are really what drives all of this. Without the narrative, what we have is we have a Discord server and some, crypto tipping bots, and it's like the narrative of the revolution, the movement, and the magic behind all that, right? So I said, hey, let me reach out to some personalities in the DAO, set up some 15-minute interviews and get their backstory, and then I'll feed those to you, and you see what you can do with the audio visual and the presentation of that. So we're in the process of doing kind of our first pass on some of those. The original thought was to do these for proposal writers, so that proposal writers have a vested interest in telling a little bit more about the proposal. And Gray Machine was like, hey, that has a shorter lifespan, that video, that clip, because, that proposal then gets old, and that's months ago. So he said, how about this, at least at the outset, let's just get the stories. Layer Zero, like the personalities behind the DAO. And so that's what we're focusing on right now. And there's even a thought of, using things like Sobel and stuff, where it's like a map of the DAO that a person as a part of their profile could have a link to that interview. And so, you go to someone's profile on the DAO org chart, you click in there, and you can go ahead and click and get the audio backstory of who they are and how they got there, what their skill set is, what they're interested in, and to kind of bring this whole community together in an organic, navigatable way beyond Discord channels. That's the basic vision, the idea.
Love the term Layer Zero.
Yeah.
So how's it going so far? And what's the what's your plan for basically lining up interviews?
So right now we're still in the testing phase. The idea is, because the audio video, the production of that, it takes a lot of time. What we're attempting to do is kind of automate it, so that there's like kind of a cloud build, and a person can literally drop in a few assets with the audio interview, and something, thematically, ShapeShift themed, like something comes out that's ready to go. Because if we can test that end-to-end process, then basically we can open the fire hose and say, okay, now anyone can kind of conduct these things, and it becomes a decentralized kind of media production, right? So, Willie Fox, you were our first test case in doing the interview process. It went awesome. It was really straightforward, and then be reaching out to some others to record some more of these. And Gray Machine, he's working on the actual audiovisual aspect of it and the cloud templatization of that, And so I know there's some other groups doing similar stuff, but the whole capturing the personalities, that's the unique value proposition of this angle. So listen, anybody, feel free to DM me, reach out to me directly. Before I come to you, you come to me and we'll set it up. We want to hear your story. And what's crazy is some of us get nervous about maybe you're not as technical, coming from as a technical background, but those stories are just as amazing. Recently talked to someone who was a heavy machinery operator and got laid off for several months and just went down the Web3 rabbit hole. And now the guy's like a wealth of information, So please reach out and we'll see what we can do. And we're excited to show the community what our first experiments are looking like and get the thumbs up if you guys want to continue down this path.
Awesome, Justice. I'm so excited about this. So when do you think we'll be able to see the first story, Layer Zero story?
Oh man, Gray Machine is working on it. He started on his side of the things today. So I hope people are chomping at the bit. I know he's pretty loaded. I think he's in the I want to speak for him. I think he's in the process of making the shift to from day job to DAO job, and so hopefully soon.
That's awesome. Love that, day job to DAO job.
Yeah.
Very few people ever go back.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Any other topics or questions anyone wants to bring up? Did you guys see the XDAI and Gnosis chain proposal is up for a merger? XDAI and Gnosis to rebrand XDAI into Gnosis chain.
See that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, there's a tweet about it in governance channel. Really interesting. It looks like it's going to pass too.
So it looks a little.
What did you say?
I saw it looks kind of contentious for sure. There's a lot of angry comments in the proposal that
I didn't see those comments yet. I want to check those out.
Yeah.
Did you see any? What are people saying?
Just I just like glanced at it for a second. So I was surprised to see how many no votes there were. So I didn't know some details on why people might be.
Yeah, on the forum post, I do see quite a bit of no votes. The proposal has more support so far. The proposal itself. Yeah, I wonder why people are. I wonder what the pushback is. I'm curious. People are saying it's risky. People are hating on XDAI being a side chain instead of being a layer 2, but a big part of this plan is to make XDAI or Gnosis chain actually like a roll up. So there could be some confusion there. Okay, and part of it too is the token swap. So I guess what's going to happen is if you hold stake, you will be redeeming your stake for some Gnosis tokens, and looks like people are saying that it's not going to be a very fair swap, basically. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And I am a stakeholder, but I think it'd be beneficial for XDAI. I've noticed XDAI is definitely like I love that tweet thread from Martin because XDAI really is one of the original EVM chains that was launched with lower fees and kind of pioneered a lot of the scaling stuff early on. And has pioneered a lot. It has a lot of great protocols that have launched on it, but it unfortunately just has not gotten like the same kind of adoption that something like Polygon has. So I think it's gonna be a good rebrand for. I think it's gonna be good just for XDAI adoption, but yeah, it looks like some of the complaints are from stakeholders, and they want to keep Gnosis out of it. Very interesting though. If it does pass, we obviously use Gnosis quite a bit. Our treasury is a Gnosis safe, and we use XDAI a lot. That's where our colony is. So I think if it were to pass, I imagine that it would be probably beneficial for our DAO framework, and just to like get more adoption on XDAI Gnosis chain, probably be good for us too. All right, anyone apply to Ethember yet?
Thanks for the reminder.
Ethember.com. Get your applications in ASAP if you're interested in going.
Same.
Way to be. Yeah, and hopefully, it looks like I guess the top sponsorship levels that we wanted are already well sold out, so we won't be able to get the top sponsorship level most likely. But if we do have a proposal to sponsor it, we will also get some extra tickets. So people who don't get accepted but still want to come, hopefully we'll have at least some room. Ethan, have you ever been to a Ethereum conference?
No, this will be my first one. I'm pretty excited.
Sick. Ron, your first two, right? Oh, I'm so excited. Ethereum conferences are pretty magical. And it's definitely going to be a life-changing experience, I imagine. It was for me. I'm excited to hang with you guys in RL too. Should have a pretty lit ShapeShift party, and we'll have some swag, I believe, too.
You gonna go to the R&R in Breckenridge as well?
You know, that is a great question. I would like to. I was not planning on it yet, but I was. Thank you for reminding me. I should check that out.
If you want to hit the slopes when people are there, I would be down.
I would love to if we can make it happen. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And we could, hang out with the ShapeShift community in the mountains, shred together, brainstorm,
Sounds
enjoy
amazing.
the local medicine. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. I'm getting excited. All right, any questions, any topics anyone wants to discuss? You guys here, we're trying to migrate to paying out with stable coins rather than Fox for this next pay cycle.
What are the stables that are going to be used?
That's a great question. I don't think we have decided on that, made that decision yet. Ultimately, I guess that would be up to the Treasury Management Diversification Committee, at least for this next month's payments, because they're going to be moving quickly to get that done. But yeah, I personally am a big fan of using One Fox for that. I know you are too, Ethan.
Yes, slightly biased.
Hey, I did have a question about this too, and this is related to the foundation. Okay, should we take $2 million of our stable coins and go in 400,000 of our Fox and turn it into 2.4 million One Fox? But part of the question was like, in the event that we do need to eventually like redeem all of that for USDC, what is the impact of doing that? If we mint a bunch of One Fox and then we redeem a bunch of One Fox, basically we're like taking USDC out of the treasury and I guess leaving more Fox in there.
Yeah, so treasury backed is there. You would just ensue a 0.45% fee. But yeah, you could go ahead and redeem all of them at any point.
And then could we really do that though, right? Like if we were to go try and redeem all of the One Fox right now, could we actually do it? Is there enough USDC backing all the One Fox in circulation? Or I guess some Fox would have to be unwound and turned into USDC.
Yeah, there would be some stabilization that goes on in the background, I think. I would if you are to do that, let one of the DAO members know. of Ichi or one of the treasury management people, like Daniel or Brian, just like give them a heads up, and then they'll, oh, okay, thanks for the heads up, and it would all be there.
Awesome. I don't think we have any, like, no one has, the DAO or the foundation hasn't done a big deployment yet, and so has no intentions to, or couldn't even withdraw anything yet. But that's one thing we were considering is like, what would be the implications of minting a bunch of one fox that we expect to be redeemed for USDC in the future? Is that, are there trade-offs basically? Are there risks of doing that?
Other than a huge amount of gas.
It can handle the gas for sure, especially for doing $1 million transactions. It's worth it. Yeah.
Why did we just avoid it and not do that? buy all one fox and keep it forever.
And staking, if we had a bunch of one fox, we could stake it, and the Ichi rewards would.
I think it's bringing in like 70% APY right now.
Mm-hmm. That would be one side. That thing too. If we did mint like 2 million and stake it, that would bring the APR down to 35%.
Yeah, don't hurt my staking. What the heck?
Totally. No, we definitely want to be sensitive with that for sure.
But I'm putting in and staking it and then using that to pay it out would be smarter, right? Less painful? I don't know.
Yeah. So Ethan, would you recommend that? Would you recommend, let's say that we're doing, about 500K payments per month, and we expect the majority of that to be redeemed for USDC within that month. Would it still make sense for the DAO every month to mint 500K one fox and then pay that out?
I probably wouldn't be the best person to recommend that. What I would say is drop it in the One Fox channel and see what Daniel and Brian's thoughts are on that, since they do most of the treasury management. But yeah, I don't see a problem with it, and it might be something where like you want to like use the DAO to like vote on that. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
I like the idea of getting insights from the Ichi guys. And we have a call tomorrow with the One Fox, with both Ichi and the One Fox governance. So that's a perfect time to discuss that. I just want to understand all the implications, because we were just talking about it yesterday with when Ocean and I were looking at managing the foundation's treasury.
And so are you guys looking to create some UniV3 liquidity soon so that users can swap for One Fox?
That's, I think, going to be a hot topic of conversation tomorrow. But one thing I'm very curious about there is like, why would somebody want to provide liquidity to the Uniswap V3 pool when there is like killer APR just for staking your One Fox?
Yeah, you might just see more users using One Fox. People that won't want to ensue the minting gas fee. It's a bit cheaper to swap. You just might see more One Fox holders, more One Fox stakers. But yeah, definitely things to weigh there.
I definitely get the benefit for like the One Fox ecosystem for sure. I'm just wondering who would be providing the liquidity that you need.
I think it's actually treasury backed. They'll take that and use that, is what they've done with other tokens.
Who's treasury?
Yeah, I would save that for tomorrow with Daniel. Yeah, I don't do the initial liquidity deposits and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for One Fox and Uniswap V3. And fortunately, I guess with Uniswap V3, you don't need too much liquidity to have an efficient market. But we'll figure out more about that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Let's ask the community here while we're here too. Would anyone have any issue with if they were getting paid in One Fox, especially if there was like a liquid, assuming there's a liquid pool, ideally on XDAI, where you could trade One Fox just for USDC right there with like no gas costs. Sweet.
I mean, it makes sense to me, right? It makes sense to be paid in a Fox controlled currency, because if it's not the best thing to be paid in, it's like, what are we doing with it, right? It's kind of like if we get paid in it, it's like an endorsement that this works.
Totally, I agree with that. I think it's a great way just to like mint more One Fox regularly and like get it out into the market, into our community's hands.
What about the voting though? Is One Fox going to be votable?
One Fox right now does not give you voting power for Snapshot, for ShapeShiftDAO. I was talking about this with Mr. Hair yesterday. We think that makes a lot of sense because you can't actually get your Fox back. So it's not like this like tokamak reactor where you deposit Fox for T-Fox and you can redeem your Fox. It's like you deposit some Fox in USDC and then you can only get your USDC back out.
Wait,
But
when you redeem it, you don't get your Fox back?
No, you only get USDC back.
Ouch.
Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so it builds a community governed treasury with every mint.
Yeah, but the One Fox can govern the One Fox treasury. And the One Fox treasury has a bunch of USDC in it and a bunch of Fox, and like the One Fox token holders eventually could choose to allocate that Fox towards a tokamak reactor, for instance, and start generating token rewards. Or maybe one day it does rebalance some of the Fox into USDC.
Yeah, I didn't know it was unredeemable. Huh.
Vice versa.
You're a proud owner of a whole bunch of USDC you didn't know about, GK.
Well, I knew I had put USDC in, but I didn't know my Fox was burned. That's a lot.
Well, that's why I bought Fox. That's why
right.
I didn't use any of my Fox. I bought extra Fox to do it. Yeah.
It doesn't get burned
too, but I wouldn't have sold any off.
Yeah, and to be clear, yeah, it's interesting because it doesn't it's not like you're selling it on the open market. That Fox isn't causing any sell pressure. It's basically just getting locked away in that treasury that your One Fox tokens still do technically control, but when you redeem your One Fox, you'll get back one USDC.
What happens to the Fox? Is just deleted?
It's
no,
go ahead.
They hold it.
So it's okay.
So if you go to Ichi's app and you click the treasury page, all of the treasuries are open source and you can look at them.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about with these guys tomorrow. I mean, anyone can create a pool, right? That was my question, is why would somebody want to create a pool when if they deposit their One Fox into a liquidity pool, yes, they'll get fees from trades, but it's probably not going to, the fees from trades are probably not going to be like the 70% APR you get just for staking your One Fox right now. So
most pools, the fees you don't get as very much. It's the actual staking you get pretty decent on.
Exactly.
We could potentially do something like One Dodo has done, where they have the One Dodo USDC pools, and then they have rewards allocated to the LP providers.
Totally, that's an option because we might need to incentivize this liquidity pool. And if we do our next dive, we could work with One Hive or essentially Elk. And that reminds me that we already have a bunch of Fox that's already kind of allocated towards XDAI liquidity mining, because when we did the token swap with One Hive, there was a bunch of extra Fox left over because the Fox price had moved so much. And we kind of agreed that we would use that to incentivize liquidity on HoneySwap. So there's some Fox and that's probably what we need to do, Ethan, if we wanted to have One Fox liquidity.
Off topic, what is your guys' favorite place, or where is your favorite place to stake Fox?
Ooh, I think the tokamak reactor is my favorite.
Tokamak. Yeah, Tokamak's mine right now.
Right now, you basically have three options for single-sided Fox staking. Let me know if anyone knows of any others, but there's Bancor, and the APY on that is single-digit %. There is Thorchain, and the APY on that is low double-digit %. And then there's Tokamak Reactor, which is high double-digit %.
Is there any impermanent loss with Tokamak?
No, there is impermanent loss protection. So I wouldn't say that there could never be any impermanent loss, but the whole Tokamak system is designed to protect against that and to enable people to deposit one asset and then get that same asset back.
Nice. So is it like a 90-day policy similar to Bancor, or is there no policy?
Yeah, there's no policy, and right now there is no risk of impermanent loss because the actual tokens in the vault are not yet being deployed to DEXs. So that's going to be one of the next phases. So right now, TokenMech is in the process of like spinning up all these reactors and getting user deposits of each of these tokens. And they just launched this past week the ability to use your toke to vote on allocating toke incentives to different vaults, depending on which vaults need more liquidity. And then the next phase is going to be allocating the tokens and reactors to different liquidity pools. When that happens, there will be some risk of impermanent loss. But to mitigate that, that's why we did that $3 million Fox token swap. Is that $3 million of Fox, which is now probably like $4 million of Fox, is collateral to protect against the risk of impermanent loss for people who do deposit Fox and get T-Fox. So the way it works is like you can, once you deposit, you can withdraw your Fox. You can request a withdrawal at any time. Right now, your withdrawal won't actually get processed until the end of the period for the cycle, which right now is 24 hours. Those cycles are about to become 7 days. So basically, there is like an up to 1 week period where you have to wait to withdraw. But the reason for that is all part of like how they're protecting against impermanent loss, basically. And there's a cap on the amount of liquidity that can be deployed to different DEXs, and that cap is based on how much of the collateral we have available.
Thank you.
No problem. And yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around. So I definitely recommend checking out. There was some articles we posted yesterday that do a good job explaining the TokenMech reward system and how that all works. That helped me understand it a lot more. Yes, and if you guys, we figured out what those two percentages are. So how if you go to TokenMech, you see a percentage on the right. So the percentage on the left is what you get for staking your Fox. The percentage on the right is what you get for your staked toke if you vote for the respective reactor. Hopefully that makes sense. So again, the APR on the left, that's what you get on your staked Fox, or whichever, for every vault, what you get on your staked vault token. The APR on the right is what you get for your staked toke if you vote for the respective vault. And if you vote for multiple vaults, it'll like take a weighted average, and you get a blended APR on your staked token. Hopefully that clears up any confusion. What's up, Rotorless?
Hi, I'm just dropping in.
Glad to see you. We're just towards the end of this, but it's good to see you. It's good to meet you over video yesterday for that Treasury Management Committee vote. I'm actually about to head down to the old ShapeShift office for this retro, the engineering retro. It's going to be in person. Should be fun. But thank you all for joining the weekly Ask Anything lunch. This has been a really great convo. We covered a lot of great stuff. So I appreciate everyone's questions and everyone's answers. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the same thing next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Really?
So,
Busy?
what did you say?
Are you busy after this?
I am. I have a one-on-one, and then I need to immediately head to downtown. But DM me, and I can definitely try and respond to whatever you need. Okay. Thanks, sir. Cheers, guys. See you.